What do you know is true without evidence? What are you certain of, right down to your bones, without proof? Most of this is just busy work to help the next generation out. Being born in a world with running water, power lines, and fast food/travel, it's hard to not appreciate former humans for taking time to do all of it. There is probably 7 degrees of separation from everyone and a serial killer. That number is probably lower than 7. I always wondered how Dexter could find a new victim every week. I exist, and if it really is all the Matrix, I don't have any bones anyway. Blue pill please. The person who wrote this comment doesn't even exist anymore. It's now just a memory in your brain that will warp and decay every time you access it. It's now a past version of yourself who thought and wrote this. You only exist for split seconds as time moves forward from one moment to the next. And there's some evidence even our consciousness is an illusion of our minds. How can you be so sure you exist? How can you be so sure the person who woke up this morning isn't implanted with every memory you have for the purpose of making you think you're you, and always have been? What if you're just some kind of memory experiment? That there is other intelligent life in the universe. We may never encounter it. Certainly not within any of our lifetimes. But it's out there somewhere. The universe is too goddamn big for us to be the only ones. We have hardly explored the ocean in its entirety on our own damn planet, so it's amazing to think what else could be out there in the universe. I don't care who you are, or what you think, or even what the science says. Geese are evil creatures. That gardening is the secret to happiness. Sounds super strange. Especially coming from someone like myself, an ex-World of Warcraft gamer. I had kids, got busy with work, wanted out of the suburbs, got some land in the country, and started planting stuff. Years later I have what I call a food forest. I have replaced lawns with fruit trees, bushes, vines, flowers, all woven together to mimic a natural forest, except everything in it is edible. It has changed my life completely. I just think there's something about being outside in the sun. Feet on soil, hands in dirt, planting shit, watching it grow in the background of your life, going out and checking on it, and watching how much bigger it is getting, watching life find it, and now you get to live with the natural world, not isolated from it. Birds making nests in your trees, frogs making home in your ponds, seeing bees all around your flowers, butterflies everywhere, rabbits and squirrels moving in, then owls moving in to eat those. It's this wonderful trophic cascade that you started, and it's incredibly rewarding. Plus, being able to just walk outside and get chemical-free nutrient-rich dinner is amazing. You can see my food forest in my post history if anyone is interested in seeing what I'm doing. I actually think a big reason depression is such a big thing these days is because we have all become so disconnected from the life that we evolved in for the last 6 million years. We evolved walking around savannas and forests, pulling food off bushes and trees, out in the sun, feet in the soil, hands in the dirt. We couldn't be further from that, living inside our isolated homes, cars and offices. It's no wonder we are all so depressed. I think gardening is the secret to happiness. That the funeral home by my house is run by some sort of criminal organization. I always see the same gangster looking guys hanging out in front of it smoking cigars and drinking beers. For me, no matter what happens, no matter what I do or don't do, no matter what I achieve or fail at, I know my dog will still love me and wag his tail when I get home. Life on other planets, not green one-eyes aliens, but even insects and things like that. Not everyone is meant to raise a child. Just because you can biologically create a child or financially support one does not mean you are meant to raise one. Epstein didn't kill himself. That we would be happier if we returned to a more natural way of living, rather than the 9-to-5 rat race. I love having backyard chickens. Alright, tell me more, cause I've been thinking about this, and I can definitely see good and bad stuff in owning them. What's so great about backyard chickens? Stick with up to 5. Any more are noisy, smelly and can be hard work. 5 is more than enough for an average family, light on the upkeep and enough so you get to know them all while still getting a decent amount of eggs. A wooden coop is best. Go for warrens. They're a decent egg layer. A silky lays tiny eggs, but make fantastic pets for small children. So you have any specific concerns? My sister ate the whole ice cream box without asking my parents. Since the Manhattan Project, building of the nuke during WWII by a small group of scientists with unlimited resources, government/billionaires got spooked and science, with a capital S, is no longer a free market of ideas, where any good idea can get pursued. Instead, scientists are very carefully guided towards projects with the funding model that is quite, perverse. Source: am a public funded scientist who's published in Cell. Still no real evidence for this though. There is some Godzilla shit at the bottom of our oceans. Deep sea gigantism will not fail me. Most company CEOs don't really know what they're doing. Whether their business thrives or fails has more to do with luck than anything else. There are exceptions, but most of them have a completely warped sense of their own brilliance. I think you have to make an addendum. Most non-founding CEOs, if you found a company and can grow it to massive success, you do know what you're doing. No one cares about growing a company more than the largest shareholder. And if they don't know what they're doing, they'll hire someone that does. Source: my mom founded her own massively successful company and I know how specialized her field of intelligence is. In regards to her business at least. If anyone else in her company has a question, she's the first they'll ask. That if God was real, he would cause another flood, except this time he won't tell anyone to build anything. That we are screwing up our only house in the name of the economy. Young children are annoying ASF. That my phone is gone forever. All women have a sixth sense that allows them to detect desperation in a man. No, it's just pretty easy to tell. Desperate men act a certain way. 5 messages in a row each on different days without a reply. I can see it. No matter how loosely you interpret the law, Donald Trump has committed or attempted to commit dozens of felonies in his life. Without proof. I think you missed that part. I'm also confident there is proof he has committed dozens of felonies in his life. If I had to guess, I would say he broke 1,000 crimes before taking office. Say 1 tax evasion and bank fraud every year since he was 18. That is about 100 right there. At least a dozen cases of sexual assault. That could also stretch into the 100s. Another 25 cases of bribery. A dozen instances of working with sanctioned companies/individuals. Thousands of building code violations. Hundreds of money laundering charges. Dozens of witness tampering cases. Dozens of campaign finance violations. And the list goes on. He is probably up to hundreds of crimes as president. Mostly emoluments violations. That this fart I'm carrying right now is not to be trusted. That I'm a failure. No, you're not. You spelled that sentence just right, my friend. I'm sure if we met I could find other successes to acknowledge. Sugar is really the worst source of problems in our chronic health crisis. And liquid sugar doubly so. Stop drinking that soda, people. It is making you profoundly sick. The same with fruit juices. They are not much better than soda. Tons of liquid sugar. Cut your sugar consumption to a quarter. Your body will thank you. You do not even have to abstain totally. Eat some pie on your kid's birthday. That is okay. But stop the casual everyday consumption. You will quickly become leaner and the threat of having diabetes mellitus second type in the future will likely go away. Sugar, or better said fructose, which forms half of table sugar, acts as a chronic poison if you keep eating it in large quantities. We are not built to consume a lot of sugar. Edit, added Morant. Bread always falls on the buttered side. Carol Baskin did it. Vaccinations work, even though there is plenty of proof. 25% of the 1% are pedis. that a vast majority of people on this earth are effectively NPCs. They have maintenance routines, and a set of phrases they will repeat, and a relatively sophisticated stimulus response mechanism. But they are still NPCs, and will never fully activate themselves into the eudaimonious described by Nietzsche. Day 135 of working from home, and performing the exact same tasks. I'm beginning to count myself among the NPCs. That alien life forms will be nothing like we have ever imagined. The world works in mysterious ways. Each individual human is a unique individual, and the world again is weird. Not that it is something I believe to be true, but something that I often think about is the butterfly effect. Like little things I do during the day could affect the total outcome of my day. That there is a reality beyond this. That without petroleum use and fossil fuels, our entire human civilization would be on the brink of collapsing within less than 2 weeks, if that. Additionally, that we are already approaching a societal collapse that will be seen and or felt by nearly every human being by the year 2035. That on balance people are more good than bad. Now sure, you can argue that that's a meaningless statement. After all, unless you think good and bad are absolute values, the average human is pretty much stuck at 0 on that midpoint on the scale. You could even point to all of the shit that human beings have done over the past few thousand years and beyond, and that we continue to do to each other now. That said, I've always found that the world is a better, brighter place when you're willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. If you assume people are willing to help you in times of need, you're more willing to help them in times of need. So there's an increase in reciprocated good in the world, whether it's true or not. Acting like people are fundamentally good helps to make it so. So yes, I believe it, because I choose to believe it. As lifestyle choices go, I highly recommend it. I saw a massive bee when I was younger, and when I tell someone they never believe me. I know that love is never easy. Being with anyone for any extended period of time is hard and takes work from both partners. It doesn't matter how well you get along. If things are easy, someone is probably not speaking up about something. The universe is a hologram. This world is strictly determined. There is no free will if we look at our lives from the cosmic level. Like, our thoughts are bound to chemistry and the laws of physics. This also means that everything started from the Big Bang. At the same time we have freedom, because we cannot imitate all particles in the universe. Thus we cannot 100% predict anything that will happen in the future. Damn. We sometimes can barely tell what happens now and in the past. Even our sensory organs send us signals from the past. The light needs to reach our retina. Signal from it needs to reach our brain. Our brain needs to understand it and conceptualize it, which takes time. Comma. I'm gonna die and I don't ever know what day I'm gonna die. There are too many people on our planet. COVID is, among other diseases, a way of Mother Nature to eliminate the overpopulation. That there is some sort of being, or energy, that's bigger and more complex than any of us can comprehend. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's a religion out there that has the right idea of what it is. And I certainly don't know if it's God or gods, or just plain old science that's far more advanced than we'll ever know. But I hope that whatever it is, it knows I respect the hell out of it, and I immerse myself in the little things to show that respect. Like quietly enjoying green tea with fresh lemon juice in the morning, or working in my garden, or even just going on a walk. What you are seeking is common knowledge. Yet, common knowledge have the dangers of being wrong too due to evolving research. The more you know, the more you doubt yourself and the world. That life is meaningless. You live, you die, you're forgotten. The only thing that somewhat gives a life meaning is that we eventually die. The only reason we do things is because we know we don't live forever. Once you take mortality out, everyone would be unmotivated, bored and depressed. Nothing would bring you joy. I don't think there is proof life is meaningless, because I don't really know how you could prove it. Unless I did just prove it, then I'm sorry for being extremely stupid. Please don't smite me. One day, it'll be dead. It's the only thing I can be certain of, which is why I find it so comforting. Not in a morbid way, either. It's just a comforting fact of life, the only fact of life, it ends. When you burn trash, the smoke goes up into the sky and creates stars. Aliens. Man. Aliens. That most dogs are the goodest boys and girls in the world. That the afterlife exists. There is way too much unexplained paranormal stuff to not just brush it all off with a rational explanation. Now, I'm not someone who hears/sees something and immediately jumps to the conclusion that it's a ghost. But if I exhaust all reasonable explanations, then I'll believe what I saw to be paranormal. Demonic entities, poltergeists, spirits, angels, shadow people. I believe in it all. Between climate change and a probable environmental collapse, pandemics in a society that just doesn't seem to give a shit, a seemingly irreversible declining middle class with a smaller but ever more powerful kleptocratic class, and global political ideology that is creeping closer and closer to totalitarianism. That I have signed up my completely innocent and joyful 18-month-old toddler to a life of suffering that will absolutely eclipse my own struggles and hardships. That a goat is a better pet than a cat. Aliens. In an infinite universe, there is absolutely no way we are the only intelligent life. 1 + 1 = 2. Gravity. Things fall and, when they do, that weighs down. There is a monster under your bed. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.